Hey kids, it's Jurassic James. It's Jurassic James looking at Gigantspinosaurus. So I've already done a video on Spinosaurus, and again the consensus is in it's at least the longest predatory dinosaur known. I know some estimates suggest up to 46 feet, if not a little bit more. Those specimens found in Morocco and probably I think again more in Egypt. So it's a pretty big dinosaur. So to give you a scale of this new discovery called Gigantspinosaurus, it's like this much bigger. Now here's the thing. I'm joking. Honestly, I wouldn't say I'm joking. My grandmother, Pearl, would say, Granny Pearl would be like, no, you're not joking, you're lying. I'm lying, this is not really what's going on. The real animal known as Gigantspinosaurus, wait for it, is this thing, it's a stegosaur. So the name again is Gigantspinosaurus. So I've told you before about the dinosaur name lexicon, that when you're looking at names, you can kind of figure out what the animal usually is. Like if something's called Eoabellosaurus, well, you know what the Abellosaur family is, and you say, well, it must be an Eo means dawn, so it must be an Abellosaurus from earlier in the time scale. You kind of you can kind of figure out what it is before even seeing it. When you read the name Gigantspinosaurus, you think, oh, giant Spinosaurus, like I just joked earlier. It's actually a stegosaur. So it was discovered in uncovered in 1985, and it wasn't formally described initially. It was written in an abstract. So pretty much an abstract, like a summary of a paper. And for a long time, it wasn't considered a valid genus until 2005, 2006, where other paleontologists looked at it and said, hey, this is a real thing. So they did not find the upper part of the skull, the cranium. They found the lower jaw with 30 teeth. They found some of the plates and spikes, some of the leg bones, things like that. And of course, this giant spine here, which is the name Spinosaurus. But I mean, when you think Spinosaurus, you think vertebra, neural spines. But beyond those opening concepts, this first figure is Collect A 2017. It was a gift from one of my friends and coworkers named Tim McSweeney. He works in museum collections at Museum of Natural Science. He's a vertebrate guy, likes with the animals and stuff, all the things, taxidermy. And so this is one that's really neat to me. Now, one thing to point out, they did not find the tail of the animal. So it has 4 spikes here, but again, they didn't find this much of it. So many stegosaurs, we'll see later on with the families. Many stegosaurs have plates and spines, or plates or spine, together. This one, it makes sense with what they found, what they estimate based on its relatives, right? So major things to point out. I like that. Okay, very good. So it has 3 toes on the foot. Very good for a stegosaur. And it has the 5 digits in the front. The difference is they're not all 5 clawed hooves. They have in the inner one you have 2 or 3, and the inner ones, or 4 maybe, and then the outer finger is usually nubbin for many stegosaurs, so it's kind of showing that. It's really a small figure, so you really can't tell. But of course, the big thing to point out is this giant spine here. Now, initially discovered, it was thought to be facing downwards, and then the new papers were like, no, it's going up like this. The animal's about 14 feet long, so it's half the size of Stegosaurus, and so it's actually Stegosaurus. Interesting enough, they're kind of short. Like the Thyrea-4, the armored dinosaurs, and Ankylosaurus, Stegosaurus, we say a 30-foot animal, which is long and it's wide, but if you're I'm 5'9" or 5'10", I'm standing up, I'm taller than this animal at 14 feet long. That's not that big if you think about it, but height-wise, it is still a massive animal in its own right. So of course we're doing this video because Jurassic World came out with their model, and I will now employ the official scissors of Jurassic James, and then we'll take them and... Do y'all actually like me doing this? I'm always curious. Put that in a comment. Oh yeah, I like it. Subscribe below. Do that and do that. So the first thing, that's it. That was not even that hard. Okay, so it's not to unpack. So first of all, given it's a toy, I know. So the first thing that jumps out at me is just how the spines they just go straight up. The way you're seeing here, where they kind of curve. I always look at the papers or the skeleton, an image of the skeleton reconstruction, and they are like a flatter base of it. But again, that could have been under the skin, so I'll give that a pass. But the idea of plates in the front, spikes in the back is not unusual for a stegosaur. What's weird is that it has 6 tail spikes. So with stegosaurs, they either have 4 tail spikes like stegosaurs, or they have a number of spikes in the back like Kentrosaurus, which we'll see in a minute. The number one thing I thought instantly was number 2 thing, is that the toes, there are 5 toes. They are very elephantine, the generic dinosaur look, when Stegosaurus for the most part had 3 toes. And there are 5 toes in the front, which again, so does this guy, but what we're looking for is a reduction of toe size. So just like a human, we have our thumb is shorter than our other digits, but they're still different sizes. For a dinosaur's forelimbs, they're usually different sizes of their claws. So for Stegosaurus, it's usually like these two are the longer, this is medium, and that's like not really small, if not showing. And so the feet are just like a generic, overly, they're all the same size kind of thing. So that stands out. With the top of the head, I would say good on you, because we didn't find the top of this, we found its lower jaw for 2 specimens, so we have no idea. Now, granted, Stegosaurus don't have stuff in their head, so, you know, it would be our luck if the first one to have a crash or something, but the idea is that we don't know, and you're looking at its relative things, so how it works. So, again, same will apply. We're looking at the history of the animal, we're looking at its relatives and its environment. So, again, here it is, and here's the 2 figures. And because I know, again, many of you are adults who like learning the science, and some of you are kids who just like seeing the toys, I'm doing both. So here are my Jurassic World Stegosaurus, and here is a 2019 Safari Stegosaurus. And so this guy, you know, give you an idea. Now, they're in rough relative scale, because remember, Stegosaurus is twice as long as so that's about pretty good scale actually right there. Stegosaurus being the largest of all Stegosaurus because it's from America. No, it's just because it just is. Africa, we have Kintrosaurus, so again so where Stegosaurus has the plates and then the 4 spikes in the end, Kintrosaurus has the plates in the front, spikes in the back. It's like a mullet. Now, for you kids who were born in the 21st century, in the 1900s, in the late 1900s, in the 80s, men had things called mullets. Sometimes they would have like a normal grown out haircut, but like a long like ponytail. This is the 80s. This is like 40 years ago when you say it out loud. And so it's like party in the front. No wait, business in the front because it's like a normal haircut, and then party in the back because it's really long. So that was my joke. Is that there's plates in the front, spines in the back. And again, for the Kintrosaurus, there's no indication of like a formal tail spine like Stegosaurus. The spines just continue up. You see the same thing in the Popo figure here. What's really obvious that really sticks out are the plates, these spines here on the shoulders. Seen it as precedence for that. So this is North America, that's Africa, this is China. In Portugal, we have Miragaia. And I've done a video already on Miragaia. The longest neck of any Stegosaur, 17 vertebrae in the neck. And so this guy, obviously this toy is a slight retooling, or maybe, actually it's not. Interesting. They're close to the appearance, and again, this is a Jurassic World Miragaia. This one is that one's 2010 Safari, and so you're kind of seeing the other Stegosaurs. And I think when I did one of my videos, I did all the Stegosaurs in one. I think I did a Stegosaur video, I don't know. And then of course this guy here from China as well. They are from different localities, so they wouldn't have been contemporaries. And you know, not only looking at when they lived within the Jurassic period, but also where they're found in China, because China's a big country, just like, you know, America or Russia, geographically. And so again, there's no non-Jurassic World toy of this figure. Again, I've done a video on it already as well. And so that's kind of where it stands in the family. Now, that being said, looking at the environment and what's going on there, let's put these guys back, and I'll do both. Okay, so in the environment, it's found in Sichuan, China. And so I've done a video already on Mamichisaurus. There will be a Jurassic World Mamichisaurus coming out at some point, and I look forward to having that and unboxing it. And so it's another relative of the sauropod named Shoshanosaurus. This guy. Now what's really cool about these guys is that the Chinese Chinese sauropods have these like clubs on their tails, like they're small clubs. And so it's one of those things when I teach basic dinosaurs, I'm like, yeah, you know, when you see armor and clubs, you think the Diarrhea 4, the Ankylosaurs, the Stegosaurs. And then we find sauropod clubs, and we're like, well, that's just not cool. Or it's really cool. It's just, it doesn't fit into our previous definitions. We have to make this new caveat over that, right? As far as predators go, you have, these are not to scale. This is Sinoraptor, which is not a dromaeosaur, not a raptor. And I always think people saying this guy's name. I did a video on him too. Gigantspinosaurus, which is essentially the Allosaurus of this part of China. And so Jurassic Park, or Jurassic World, have their own. I already did a video on this guy like a while ago. And so it's debate whether or not, like, it's in the Allosaurid group, but it's close to the Metrocryptosaurus, which will be my next video actually. And I'll put that guy there. So this guy represents that guy. So as far as the company goes, like these two lived together. They were contemporaries. He may have munched on this guy at some point. So that's kind of a cool thing to point out. Not for him, though. So as far as the actual ecology goes, you got your sauropods, you got your stegosaur, and you got your theropod, your predators. So this is late Jurassic, China. Same time, roughly same time around the world, we have the Morrison Formation, what I'm always talking about, with Ceratosaurus, well, do it this way, with Ceratosaurus and Allosaurus, who are not to scale for some reason, and a Stegosaur, and we have Apatosaurus, and Diplodocus, and Camarasaurus, and Brachiosaurus. Now, I will tell you there are a number of other sauropods and stegosaurs and other predators that are found in this environment, but there are no toys of them, so I can't talk about it. But there's like Omeosaurus, another large sauropod like this. And so we're seeing that even though this is China and this is North America, at this point Pangea is starting to break apart, and we still have the same players, the same look, basically. And so if you're in late Jurassic, you kind of see a similar cast of characters wherever you go, but they're different groups because the Macronarians and the Diplodocids are one group. These guys are slightly different. So then they're converging with the same general lifestyles, right, for the environment. So that's kind of a cool thing to point out there. And again, this guy is a good example of this environment, these conditions and everything. And so that being said, I'll see you guys later, but I'll remind you that we talked about the history of you open with a joke. The history of Gigantspinosaurus, its family tree, and its environment. So it's a good kind of overview of a simple toy that's like $10 or $12 or whatever, like Kroger's or Walmart. So anyway, again, I can't say they're wrong to sell spikes, but we don't see that. Either have only two or have several more. Don't have, but there's no tail, so we can't say they're wrong. So, but I think they're wrong. Anyway, see you later, guys. Thank you for tuning in. Next week we're doing Metricanthosaurus. Say that 5 times fast. Metricanthosaurus. Anyway, see you guys later. Bye.